My name is Raj. I'm a movement artist, and I'm interested in all kinds of movements, but particularly movements in and through border type areas by a particular type of body, a body in pain, a vulnerable body, the migrant body. So I'm interested in movements made by a vulnerable body through border type areas. Okay, so I explore that quite a lot in my work. Um, Now, the video that I'm about to show you was commissioned by Sarah Brown, the curator for Talca 2020. It was shown in Galway for a short period of time before it had to shut down because of COVID. It has since been purchased by the Arts Council of Ireland last year. And I spent a year working with several migrant activist groups in Ireland to map a direct provision center, a type of border area play space. And it took a lot of research and a lot of effort to try to get a life-size map together with the details that it required. So this comes with this life-size map of this particular room within a particular direct provision center in Galway, and with a 12-minute audio. So I'm going to start you with a short promo video by Talca, and then I'll go on to show you the full 12 minutes of the tour. We followed a model working her way through the tour, through the life-size map. We recorded that, and I've got that for you here today. Okay, so I'll start with this. So that was just a short introduction to Talca and all the exhibitors and all the artists that are taking part in 2020. Now, what I'm going to do now is show you the full 12-minute audio of border tours. So there was if you wanted to experience the tour, you are given this set of headphones, and a 12-minute audio is played through these headphones as you're given instructions to move through that space. So I spent quite a bit of time working with voice artists and working with sounds and sound effects, and with the choreography and writing the script to tell the body of the participant what to do, what's happening around you, how you would be moving through that space. So if you can bear with me through the 12 minutes, it's quite interesting.
Before we begin this tour, we, as artists and activists involved with the End DP campaign, want to take a moment to support and stand in solidarity with everyone in the direct provision system and with those who are fighting against the institutionalizing of disadvantage at home and globally. You are about to embark on an unauthorized visit to a room in a direct provision centre somewhere in and around Galway. This room is the only home of a family who lives there with all their life belongings. We urge you to be respectful. Many details about the space and the room have been altered to protect the privacy and security of its occupants. On this tour, you will be guided by this voice, and you may be asked to move around the room in an unconventional manner. Please step up to the footmarks at the entrance to the room. Right now, you are standing in a corridor facing a door in a direct provision complex. There are doors that open to other rooms along the corridor. It is not very bright in here. There is a strong smell of neglect about the place. Now it is time for a quick body check. To help you engage with an embodied understanding of space, let us do a few simple exercises. Please take a deep breath in and exhale. Squeeze your eyes tightly and open. Raise your right hand above your head and drop it by your side. Raise your left hand above your head and drop it by your side. Rub your hands together and feel the heat this generates. Turn the handle of the door and step in. Careful, the door doesn't open all the way. Squeeze through as best you can with your back against the cold, hard walls of the room as you enter. We would encourage you to leave your shoes by the door. This is one of the ways the family marks the inside and outside of their home. You may sit down on the floor as you take your shoes off. Tuck them away into a corner with the other shoes. Close the door behind you. The door locks from the inside, but you needn't bother judging by how often it is open unannounced. There is, for instance, a monthly inspection. Someone could come in any time unannounced. You are now in the foyer and the living room of the house. The bathroom door should be on your left. Stand here for a moment. This is where everyone pauses before negotiating the space in front of them. Watch your steps. A child has been playing in the foyer with her toys on the floor. Tiptoe through the Lego pieces. Keep your arms and shoulders tucked in. Keep your jacket on if you are cold. Otherwise, you can take it off and throw it onto one of the beds in front of you. It is usually tucked under the beds to save space. The heating comes on for 2 hours in the morning and again for another 2 in the evening. It is cold inside. We are going to walk to the dining area of this room. It is on the far side by the window. Wedge yourself a space by the metal bunk beds as you negotiate your way through the bedroom area. Hold on to the rails of the beds while you squeeze past the bags and the chair. Feel the hard industrial steel of these cheap brutes. They have a long history of use in direct provision centers. Watch you don't catch your feet or elbows on them. Keep yourself small and you might not get hurt. You should now be standing by the cot. You are now in the nursery. You are deep in the main living area of a direct provision accommodation. Turn around on the spot slowly and feel the claustrophobic and limited space around you. Imagine for a moment 5 other people in this room. If it is safe to do so, drop to your knees. The occupants of the room often stoop low or crawl around the cot to avoid waking or distracting the infant. Crawl towards the window and squeeze past the large back, blocking a hidden corner. Have a seat on the window ledge. You are now in the dining area. Here, tucked away, you can talk and enjoy a quiet drink, always with the gurgle of the slow cooker or a boiling kettle in the late evening light and the intimate glow of street lamps outside. Food and cooking is strictly not allowed in the rooms in this direct provision center, but due primarily to the quality of food in its canteen and the strict time restrictions for meal times, a slow or pressure cooker, along with various utensils, tea and coffee, are often smuggled in. Move to the bunk bed beside you. Lie down and stretch out on it. This is where one of the adults sleeps. Lie here a moment. Hold out your arms straight up above you. Sit up and pull up your knees to your chest and hug them tight together. Now, imagine that you are sitting beside a parent and listening intently to her. Feel the weight a parent carries for her children in this room. Will we have enough next week? Are they getting what they need? What have we done coming here? How much longer can we wait? Will we miss our next meal? Will the DP money come? When will they come for us in the night? Stand up. You should be between the 2 bunk beds. Climb the ladder leading up to the top bunk. Lie here for a second. A teenager sleeps here. He's a good kid, keeps to himself, doesn't like anyone knowing he lives in a DP center. He reads and writes voraciously, not to make sentences but to break free. And he struggles with the tenuous family hierarchies and identities that the DP life seems to destroy every day. He hates it here. Get down and slowly move between the bunk beds towards the computer, sitting on a pile of old cabinets near the opposite wall. Keep your shoulders and arms tucked in as you wedge yourself past the bags. You should now be by the chair. Pull back the chair. There is little room for it. Slide into it as best you can. Watch your knees. You are now in the study, sitting in front of a computer. The old computer was donated a year ago. It is a testament to the wonderful outpouring of support for direct provision residents throughout Ireland. There are big bags all around you. The occupants of this room have been living out of suitcases for 4 years now, not knowing when they will be moved next, having been moved from center to center several times. Like migrants at sea, from landfall to landfall, in search of a place to call home. Not knowing weighs heavy in this room and exacts a terrible price. Stand up and slide out towards the foyer and the bathroom. Remember the Lego on the floor. Make your way round it. You should now be standing by the door of the bathroom. Push it open and go inside. Careful it doesn't open or close all the way. Having your own bathroom is a luxury in the direct provision system. Work your way to the sink and wash your hands. The bathroom doubles up as the laundry and storage room. There is a smell of damp in the place. It often is the only place for some privacy. Leave the bathroom and into the foyer. This tour has now come to an end. Don't forget your shoes. Exit through the front door. Make sure you have not left anything behind. We hope you have had a glimpse into the space and rhythms of life in a direct provision accommodation. Thank you.
Okay. Did you even hear that? I'm gonna continue. I'm sorry to have to launch you right into it. 12 minutes of a tour through a space in a direct provision center. If you have any questions, just pop them in the chat box and, about the particular piece that I'm referring to or looking at just now, because we're going to keep moving now, and I'm going to be jumping about all over the place. Now, the border tours took about a year and a half to put together. There were a lot of little details. We had to work through a lot of different videos and a lot of different conversations and workshops and stuff. But a lot of the learnings for the installation came from a course that I ran with Professor Karen Till at Maynooth University for the MA in Spatial Justice. And I'm going to show you a short video of one of the AN assignments by one of the students for the MA for Spatial Justice. In the first year, I designed it and I ran the course for 2 semesters at Maynooth, and we learned quite a lot from just the way people worked through their own rooms, their own spaces during the time of COVID, when everybody was sitting at home, and how they measured the space and responded to the way they moved through that space. So here's Fiona, and this is a short 6-minute video. So I'm just going to stop share for a second, and I, I think that was enough for Fiona's work. Fiona did a really good job, and she was one of the top students for the MA for Spatial Justice in the first year that I ran it. And you could see what we were trying to do. You pick a space within your home, and then you measure it with your body. You look at the way you move through it, then you perform around hotspots that you design, or you pick around the room where a lot of activity takes place. So that's how we do it. That's how I got them to start thinking about space and how movement makes space and how space makes movement. So next video, I'm going to continue. Somebody asked me why I called the first video, the first installation at Talca 2020 Border Tours. I think of the direct provision centers as being part of a border. They might be found deep in the country, but I think they form a type of a border, and the spaces within these centers are border area spaces. And the type of movements that they incite or they bring about are border type movements, similar sort of movements that you find at immigration checkpoints, where there's a certain insecurity in law and how it treats people and how it makes people present and invisible. Okay, so I'm going to go on. I'm going to keep sharing. It's just pop the questions in the chat box and I will look at them. So next video and next one. Okay. Now I'm going to go to another bit of work that I did, another commission, and another commission that happened over the last 2 years during COVID. And this was a commission by the Glucksman in Cork, and it's titled Spasm. And it was a digital commission consisting of 16 short online films. And I've been working with this format now for over 7 years actually, and using short repetitive films to show a movement, to emphasize on a particular type of movement. And I use a similar sort of format for this commission. And what I did was I worked with an academic in UCC, Dr. Adam Hanna, and it was lovely working with him. And he was a kind of an expert on Seamus Heaney's work. And I became quite involved with his particular.
And Bonan Bui, Le Cahal Bui Magillagona.
I'll not show this.
A one on we, Shemolian.
I became involved, obsessed with his study. This is Seamus Heaney's studies from the archives, and how he would have moved around it, and how he would have created this Nobel Prize winning work in this study. It wasn't actually this particular study, but that desk. He describes it very amply, and Seamus Heaney was thankfully, he talked a lot about where he worked and how he worked, and so we had a lot to hinge our work on. So he talked about his desk, and it was a slab or a board that he had got from somewhere, from Carey Fort College, and I just used a similar kind of apparatus, similar kind of prop in my work. I worked with 2 dancers, and I filmed it over 2 days. and then I use what I will usually use, graphic elements, to try to emphasize different things within the work. So there's 16 videos. They're all very short and all very repetitive. They repeat on each other. So this one is called the Yellow Bittern. Yellow Bittern was an old Republican poem that was translated by Seamus Heaney. And a previous slide that I showed you there, he read it, and there's a YouTube video of it. So all 16 videos hinge, there's no audio, and they hinge on this particular movement that I've spent a lot of time researching, this idea of the Deleuzian spasm, the move that comes just after you've been sitting still for a long time. And you see it in Francis Bacon paintings, and the figures are still, but you can see almost that it's going to spasm out of this number of forces are acting on the body, and that spasm is what I investigated in this short film. So I'm going to show you the next one. There's 16 of these. This is called Kevin's Heart. All based around Seamus Heaney's poems. I worked with some amazing dancers, and I have the privilege of doing that in Ireland. This was filmed at the Temple Bar Gallery studios, and all choreography was worked through. I had an initial idea, and I worked with the dancers over a period of time, and we came through the rehearsals, and then we stopped and recorded it. Next one, I'm going to show you one more. Okay. So 3 of the 16, I've just shown you 3 of 16s. Again, this happened in 2021, was recorded in April last year, and was shown at the Glucksman in September. I'm going to go on to the next project. If you don't mind, if I can move, that is.
Can you feel a space inside your mouth? Can you feel or imagine volume, or the weight of your tongue? Can you feel in the space between your eyes? Can you feel the space inside your throat? Can you imagine or feel between your forehead and the back of your head?
Oh God, I think I might be might be running out of time. It's 1:48 already. Oh goodness. All right, so that was a commission by Platform Asia UK, and you see the way this idea of measuring space with your body is an important part of my practice, and I use that quite a lot. And this idea of the existence of space that you create through your body, and how these movements and the way you move creates those spaces. I'm going to show you for a few more videos with the little time I have. Once again, share. This is a piece of work that I did last year again with Anya. The video it's about a band, a turban band, a 40-year turban band in the Garda in Ireland. So Garda, they weren't allowed, they were not given the permission to wear turbans when, turbans are worn by policemen in the world, Singapore, here in London. But it was banned in Ireland for 14 years, and I had to make a comment about it, do something about that. So this is a video, and one of two videos that resulted from my work around it with Anya.
Turban it's a symbol and it's an icon.
It's
of
part of the Sikh values.
Sikh faith wore a turban. He's standing up for defense of the weak and
Shoes. Putting them on makes you work a lot harder than
like that.
working at home. As soon as I turban,
to your community.
I feel like I'm in the uniform. I'm in the uniform. Just through a religious light. That's through a sense of duty to your community. And that's not just through a religious light. That's through a sense of duty to your community.
As soon as I put on my turban, I feel like I'm in the uniform. I'm in the uniform.
And that's not just through religious light. That wearing turban is a sense of duty to your community. It's part of the Sikh values.
Standing up for the defense of the weak and the vulnerable.
Okay, we're going to move on. Any questions there? Great.
Can I
next
just,
one.
sorry, Rajinder, could I just ask where the audio piece is from? Is it taken from someone's, is it a quote from someone or?
The audio piece for the last one?
Yeah.
It is a bunch of different videos, a bunch of different audio pieces that are kind of interspersed together, and it's actually a Punjabi friend talking about what is it to wear a turban, why is it so important to a Sikh man? So I have not worn a turban myself. Again, I'm representing the emotions and the thoughts and ideas and principles of this culture that I've been brought up in, that I know quite a lot of, and I was surrounded by orange turbans as I grew up. My dad wore them, I didn't. I'm removed from it to a certain extent, but I think I've given myself the permission, the right to explore it, and as I grow older, I see myself returning to it, and so a lot of my work, all my sculptures, and three of the ones that were recently purchased by Imma are all based around the star, the turban, and the orange fabric. They are fabric sculptures. I've got maybe 7 more minutes. Maybe I can show a couple of things. But what I'd like to show before I go is what I'm doing right now. Share screen, share view slideshow. What I'm doing right now is really interesting, and I'm I'm a resident choreographer, resident artist with the Folk Life program, with Mayo Arts Office, with Lenore Arts Center, with Culture Works, with the Museum of Country Life in Mayo, and I've been working with 4 amazing artists producing some amazing stuff. Alice Maher, Britta Mayock, Nola Clark, and Alice Kinsella, and coming to the end of it now, and each artist picked an artifact in the Museum of Country Life. Alice Maher picked the turla, Britta Mayock picked the plow, Nola Clark, she was working with the kofra, the food storage cupboard, and Alice Kinsella was working with the knot and the cross, the house knot. And so I created this program called Guide, and as a bunch of new tools involved that I've started using with this program. And if I could just very quickly read, I want to tell you about this program because I'm going to start working now with Emma on a similar sort of thing, but the Museum of Country Life, Mayo Arts Office, Lenore Arts Center, they took a chance with me. They allowed me to run this lab, run this trial with Guide. So what is Guide? Guide is a 6 to 8 week body-based, movement-oriented program focused on the role of the body in art. It asks what kind of questions or discussions in exhibition making may necessitate or in an engagement of choreographic thinking. So I come from that viewpoint of movement. It is underpinned by the consideration that our engagement with art always come from a place of embodiment and attempts to unharness the senses which are often marginalized in art practice, criticism, and appreciation to enable new modes of engagement and appreciation of the arts. So I make a case with Guide that when we engage with art, most of the time we engage with art through our bodies. But when we write about it, when we talk about art, we never talk about it through the bodies. Art criticism cuts the body out completely. So I work with these 4 artists to engage with 4 different artifacts within the Museum of Country Life, to convey, to measure, and to understand those artifacts through the body. So and this is what they did. And I'm going to show you one. And this is, I'm going to show you one by Nuala, because I found the 1-minute video for it. Because she did a performance around the kofra. And the cupboard is a map I followed to find an inheritance. Oh God, her work is so amazing. Just like Rita's performance around the plow, just like Alice's work around Turla, and how she immediately engaged her body around the kofra, the food storage cupboard. Its dark interior, asleep inside locked doors. I collected keys which jangle my ears into remembering a bowl moved, a semicircle of flour on a shelf. So this here, what she's got here, the drawing, the writing, is part of a score, what I call a score of the, around the kofra. And this is her performance. I'm going to show you a quick performance of this. Now, this is not my work. I acted as a guide. This is entirely Nuala's work.
I gathered all the keys from the kofri around our house, the generations of kofri in the shed. I turned them around and around in my hands. Clink. Put them into my pocket. I've been using this kofra at the museum as a map. It's a locked enclosed space which I could fit into. I imagined I saw a bowl moved, a semicircle of flour on the shelf, and I moved my hands in bread-like motions as I kneaded that bread. I saw myself move my hands back towards me, and there she was, my grandmother. My grandmother, as I used to know her, those inward knuckle turn, amazing to have found her. Reawakened hands. My grandmother in my hands, there she is, in my hands, not a usual occurrence. This is a dance in the key of paternal grandmother. You can do it if you wish. The only direction is that your movement is characterized by small, circular, inward motion, tight, angular, tense, and plaintive.
Thank you. I think I'll end it there.